Tonight we have a 15 Finds Out follow-up.
Last fall, we reviewed reports from all the restaurants in Allen County and showed you the places with the most repeat violations.
So how are they doing now? News Channel 15's investigator Alyssa Ivanson went back to the records to find out.
After going over the latest inspection reports from the health department last October, 10 restaurants rose to the top of our violations list, all with more than 10 critical violations and a dozen non-critical violations. How they fared on their next inspections is a mixed bag.
Part of doing business for a restaurant is keeping up with hundreds of health codes. The vast majority do, having perfect health department inspections. But some struggle to stay compliant. 10 establishments stood out when 15 Finds Out combed through the documents last year, all with dozens of violations. Great Wall 2 Buffet on Coldwater was one of the habitual offenders featured last fall. The owner wouldn't return our calls in October. Then, when the health department went back to do another inspection, the only sign left said space available. Exactly why the restaurant closed was not listed on the out of business report. Another high violator is now off the list. Mon-In Asian Restaurant went from more than 30 violations, including pest problems last April, to only one small violation in December. The routine pest control was there when we went last week.
What's it like when you see a restaurant go from more than a dozen critical violations to just one non-critical?
I think it's the reason why a lot of us do our job. Whenever we're out there in the field, we want to see restaurants win. We want them to be able to provide safe food and quality food to the customer and provide them a good experience too.
Not the same success story though for House of Hunan. It was inspected in May and then again in October. The reports almost unchanging, more than 24 repeat violations.
Even though the numbers from the previous inspection may have been trending in the right direction from the previous inspection before, there's a few less criticals or non-criticals, but still a large number of violations, including repeats, things that were noted before that are of concern. And we know that we have a lot of work ahead of us.
The only violation not fixed on site by the inspector, the lack of a certified food handler.
That class will teach them a lot of the things that they have critical violations for. That would show that they can demonstrate knowledge that they have the food safety because they've passed the test, they have the certificate.
Their certificate is then good for 5 years, but House of Hunan's
expired in April of 2015.
In May, the lack of certificate was noted. In October, the restaurant was again told it had 90 days to meet the requirement.
It's been 90 days. Do they have a certified food handler now?
They're on the calendar, but we haven't been there yet for a follow-up yet.
So we went to find out. The owner told us he took the test last month but didn't pass, saying he doesn't have enough time to study and it's hard to learn the material. He won't take the test again until April, which means the restaurant will have been without the certified food handler requirement for a year.
Now that's 3 of the 10 restaurants on our high violation list. So what about the other 7? We discovered they never had a second routine inspection, even though county ordinance says they should. Our 15 Finds Out investigation continues tonight at 6, and we discover why the health inspectors fell behind. Alyssa Ivanson, News Channel 15.